Happy One Wheel Wednesday, everybody. Wowee. That was a little glitch we had there. I didn't even have time to put on my sunglasses yet. It's just the way the day's going. I hope everyone's doing great. We're fresh off of Dirt Surfers, which is one of the best one-wheel races out there. It is a premier one-wheel race, which means this is the top shelf kind of stuff. It's the best of the best. It was so much fun. Winners were crowned. Crowns were given. Awards were given. It was an adventure. We are never alone in here. Holly, my wife, will make her way in here. She's wrapping up homeschooling. Testing is happening today, so she's got her own thing happening. We got the one and only Lily with some new hardware.
Yeah, I got it. It's right here.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I got my hardware. Look at me. I got it too right here. Baby Jesus.
Jesus is small.
Is baby Jesus? You have adult version Jesus?
Yeah, I have Jesus at age 33.
Somebody got tweening Jesus somewhere, I'm sure. Nonetheless. How'd you feel to win, Lil?
Great. I mean, I had fun racing with you, but it was even more fun to get to top it off being on the podium.
Podiumed?
It was super fun.
You'll have to stay tuned to all of our shenanigan videos later on in the channel, like a couple weeks. See if Lily beat me in all the races or if I am the reigning champ. You'll just have to find out. But right now, she podiumed in her age bracket, which was awesome to see.
It was fun.
We had a lot of our Groms that podiumed him as well on the second day of races. First day of the race, one of the local boys here with Scott Mendenhall and friends jersey podium Jack. It was just a good day. Good week. Scott Mendenhall and friends got to serve the whole venue. We got a new poster as well for the studio. Check this out. We are now Function Wrist Guards is the premier wrist guards
and it's
out
over
there.
me, which I'm excited about. Because now we're symmetrical here.
It
see,
fits.
can you tell what I mean?
Yeah, it looks better. We didn't have a gap. One Wheel's still sending us one, which we'll find a home from there. But we're pretty stoked to add some of that stuff into the studio. We do have a great guest today. Luke Austin's in here, coming off his win, a combined win of Dirt Surfers, which means he won overall fastest on the enduro side on Saturday and the fastest in the 8-mile race, which somebody's going to get real critical and say it was like 7.5 miles. 8-mile race, whatever. Overall,
it was long.
It was long. It was great. It was good. We're going to get into those conversations with Luke. But before we do that, we came home with some really cool stuff as well. We came home with a lot of different jerseys. We came home with T-shirts. We also came home with a little bit of our own little hardware here presented to you by Float Life. Oh, upside down. I got to hate that. That was bad. Float Life hooked us up with a set. Not just one, but a set of WTFs for the GT. We're pretty stoked on it. This one is not open yet. Lil, open your shows. They are a thing of beauty, I'll tell you that right now. They are like the angels will sing when it's like, oh, like tilt it down, tilt it down, tilt it down. Oh, man. We're going to be riding those. We got a set of them. That means the 357s are out for a little bit. We got a review dropping on those. We got a lot hanging around here. So let's get to our guest. We've not tested the feed to make sure it's going to work correctly, okay?
Yeah, we have no idea.
It could be a fail amongst all colossal fails with technology involved. But we're excited. So when we introduce him, it could be anticlimactic, meaning I give an introduction that hopefully inspires him to do great things, and then we hit go, and his sound doesn't work. It could happen, Luke, and that's okay. We're okay with technical difficulties. We'll just have to have you call back or something. But it is. Are we ready for the interview with the reigning champ from Dirt Surfers 2023? Holly, welcome to the studio.
Hi, I'm sorry I was late.
We told him that you were wrapping up summer schools. Homeschooling testing is being done today, so.
Yeah, well, right when I was walking out the door, Historic got a bloody nose.
What?
Happens.
We had blood everywhere, and I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't just leave her.
You couldn't. You're right. You're so smart. Yeah, you're a great human being. Thank you for loving and taking care of our children. You do great. We only lost 2 of them in the woods at Dirt Surfers, but more on that later. Okay, let's get to it. I don't know if you know who Luke Austin is. He's a pro one-wheeler. He is the skinniest man to ever put on a pair of shoulder pads while racing a one-wheel. You see him in his gear, very large and intimidating. Don't get in his way. Take off the shoulder pads, and it's like, where'd the man go? He disappears. Luke Austin is a gentleman amongst all men. He can send it like nobody else in the business. He sends it to the moon and back. I don't know how he does it. He makes it look flawless and fun and not dangerous at all. Luke is a one-of-a-kind pro. He's a pro on the one wheel, off the one wheel, and in between. He is a hero amongst the Groms. They look up to him and say, how does he do it? He goes fast. He goes high. The dude is a genuine, amazing human being. The one and only Luke Austin, everyone.
What an introduction!
And then we got
everybody?
Luke. We
Can you
cannot
hear me
hear you. That could be on us. Luke, give us another hello. Let's see if it's us or you.
Hello.
There, we got you,
Hey.
Luke. Luke hanging with us.
How about that introduction, Luke?
I loved it. That was absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. That was
Ye-
epic.
Yeah, we're here to.
He's pretty good at intros. Oh, I just.
We're really
camera.
excited to have you on. How long do we got so we can honor your time? We got you for maybe 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Yeah, as long
Well,
as
it
you
could
need.
go longer if the conversation's going well. But where are you right now? Because obviously you're inside a car. Why are you inside a car?
I'm working right now. I just took some time off work. I work at Underwood Fire Equipment, located in Wixom, Michigan, and I'm the chief of design at this particular facility.
That's a big deal.
Okay, so like
Sounds legit.
it does sound really legit. Like, what in the world did you
What does
say?
that
I
mean?
couldn't. So, what is it that you actually do there, though? Like, you're an engineer.
Yep, I'm an engineer. I particularly design our prefabricated fire pump houses. So anytime a big fire suppression system needs a fire pump, like big Amazon box stores or big warehouses and skyscrapers all need fire pumps, we'll build these prefabricated pump houses to ship to site, set down, and then they'll have a ready to go fire pump room just a few hours.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
amazing.
Wow.
Okay,
I don't even know what you just said.
he keeps people safe. At the end of the day, he keeps you safe
That's right.
when you're at like
That's right.
big warehouses, maybe like a Costco potentially.
That's a garden-like job right there.
Yeah, but okay. That's amazing, knowing what you do on a one wheel. Like, how's it feel? You're a couple days removed from being crowned the god of Dirt Surfers 2023. You did something very few have done before. You won Saturday and Sunday, which gave you
He's
the
Mr.
top
Dirt Surfers.
hat. Is awesome.
That's right.
Triple
How's it
crown.
feel?
I'm stoked. I'm still surprised, honestly, that how well I performed this weekend. I knew I was going to do well. I felt that I was going to at least podium this weekend, or I had a good chance at it. But to win overall on both days, I was honestly very surprised.
No, like
Why is
yeah,
that?
why are you surprised?
Why?
Like, you were there. When did you get there on Tuesday? My days are all blurred together.
Right.
Tuesday, right, is where I saw
Yeah.
you down at the
Yeah.
drop zone, and
Right,
we met.
right, yep.
We met for the first time there, like officially. We've seen each other, but that was our
Right.
official. But you were one of the harder working pros out there. You were always hitting trails. Every jersey you had on every day has holes in it, which tells me you're sending it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you were working hard. So what was the surprise that you performed so well?
Well, I know the competition out there is super steep. And last year at Dirt Surfers, I think I only placed 18th overall. I think I was on
Wow.
XR as well back then. But just to see I knew the level of competition here was going to be really high. And all the different competitors that I was trying to, compete against are going to be bringing everything they could to the table for this particular event. So I just assumed that it was going to be more difficult than it, or more or less likely that I'd actually perform as well as I did. So
Yeah, we talk a lot as we race around here and compete in past one wheel stuff. Lily loves to compete in CrossFit stuff. I compete in racing Ironman and marathons, and you show up with an intention to perform really well, but you do need Lady Luck to be on your side. You need some things to just go your way. And
absolutely.
it sounds like you had a lot going your way. For those at home that didn't make it to Dirt Surfers, can you just explain to them what Dirt Surfers is so they understand what you just did and the difficulty of it? It wasn't like you just showed up and you're just going in a circle kind of deal. It was a 2 days of intense racing. Just explain it to those at home. What is Dirt Surfers?
Yeah, absolutely. Dirt Surfers for me, you show up as early as you can, get as much practice in as you can. There's 7 individual segments for all the different categories, and then there's one additional segment for the pro division. Within each of those segments, you take your total combined time for all 8 segments, add that up, and that'll give you your total time for the enduro race. Whoever has the lowest, obviously, of total time wins overall. And then the excursion race the next day on Sunday ended up being about 7 to 8 miles, somewhere in there, 7.5 miles, I think, of total length. And that was just a start to finish mass race. Everybody's on the trails. It's like a huge group ride, but at really high paces through the woods. And it was just an absolute blast. Both races are really fun. There's different levels to, or different, benefits to each type of race platform. The big excursion race, the giant group ride is just incredible amount of fun. Really low stress, just a good time out there.
Wait, hold on. You said that 8-mile race was low stress with all these other people trying
cruising with friends in my
cruising. Oh my
I saw
gosh!
a video today. It didn't look like you were cruising.
You are underplaying it for everyone at home. That was like, let me. That tells you how just cool this guy is. This pro, he's just
so
genuine
chill.
pro. No, you are going. I think it was a mass start of age groups and pros.
Yeah.
So there's like, I don't know. I think between 30 and 40 pros lined up to start at one shot.
Right.
So yes, you are in a group ride sense. But you also are trying to pass the person in front of you. You're not just chilling like, that's cool, you take the shot. No, you're like, I want it. I'm going to pass you. And you're wobbling between little rocks and trees. I think it's a little bit more precarious than Luke's leading on. I rode it. It's precarious. I mean, let's be honest. Full disclosure here. Like, Lily and I, we were the butt of the entire race. We were cleaning up Luke, everybody, making sure that everyone got a hug.
Carnage.
So we left 30 minutes after the last Groms had left. When we came through, we pulled out a person that broke their ankle in that race.
Oh.
That doesn't sound like a normal group
broke
ride.
their arm.
Okay?
Arm, yeah.
Nope.
There was a person that...
Oh, no, ankle and arm.
Then
both
the
of
lady...
those.
What's her name?
Lori Muir.
Lori breaks her arm. Like a new elbow is here, and she finishes to win first.
Yeah, she still got first.
Luke, does this still sound... Does this still sound like the thing that you just were talking about here?
Technically, yes, but it's probably a different viewpoint from the very front of the line and middle of the pack.
I think for you, okay. So let's walk it through. So you win what? Again, us riding those trails, we know how difficult it is. Walk us through. We have no video footage of it at the moment. I have heaps, Luke. We're going to show one video here in a second because you also went in to do the big drop competition, which was so awesome. But I've seen some of the video shots of like all the mass start, chaos. Where did you end up at the beginning of that race? How did you, when you hit to the single file line into the trails, what was your place at that point?
Going into the woods, I was about the 6th person in.
Okay.
I think it ended up when Nico and then Jafari, Jeff Adair possibly, or maybe he was behind me. Brandon Peavy, and I could have been the 6th guy. I forgot who else was. Oh, maybe Sam Lara. It's hard to remember exactly.
They were all in front of you.
Me, yeah.
So it sounds like you're 5th or 6th going in. So you got to pass six people.
How'd that go down?
How does that happen? Like, were they falling and you were passing, or were you coming up yelling enduro and then go?
No. They'd either have a issue around one corner, go down, go off the board, have some sort of mess up, and I'd be able to squeeze by them at that point. Just staying on my board, clean race throughout the whole event. That's how I got to the front.
Would anyone get out of the way during that?
That's a fair question.
Not really in the front.
You literally
crew.
just had to
to
squeeze
maneuver
past them.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
most of the time, if they're going down, though, we're moving at speeds where their board and their body gets chucked off the trail anyways. So it's not a big
Okay.
There we go. That's the race
Thank
we're
you for
talking
the
about.
honesty there. That sounds a little bit more.
I can picture it better.
Yeah.
So if they go down, they're out of the way. You can just blast past them most of the time. Not too big of an issue. If they did go down, they're in the trail and in your way, we would pull our boards and move our bodies out of the way so the other guy can get by.
Amazing.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah, wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I had the privilege of being, I wasn't at the start line, but I was down the hill, past if you've been a dirt surfer, I was still up in, the parking lot area. I never imagined it was going to be something like that on that mass start, on how fast you guys were going and how quickly you blew. Like, at one point we were like, hey, just make sure cars stay out of the way. Yeah. As soon as you guys we're like, get out of the way, they're coming. It was chaos. And I have never seen anybody go that fast before.
Yeah.
Nico freaking took off way ahead of the crowd. Oh, man. You've seen the videos? Oh, my gosh. He was way out there. It was impressive.
I love the video that's circulating with him on it, and it talks about when riding your board, keep your center of gravity over the wheel when his center of gravity is clearly way past the board.
Yeah,
exactly. He's like one-footed on that front footpad almost, just standing on the thing.
Yeah. Now, for everyone that's seen that, it is a Vesk board, so it's a little bit different than a one wheel. That's why he could do that. I don't think you could ever do that on one wheel and not just eat dirt or pavement.
Right.
That was wild.
that was crazy to see.
That was why he comes up from the finish line. I'm expecting, because I knew he was on an XR that had the Vesk software in it. I thought for sure, hands down, he'd win. And then he comes up.
I thought so too.
We didn't see him for a while.
He comes up to drop off his chip, and he's got blood coming down his face. I mean, again, it sounds exactly like you were saying, a gingerly ride with friends and trails. Yeah. Every time I go on a group ride, that happens. Somebody's face is bleeding. But he just get, yeah. Good. I maybe in Michigan you guys ride a lot harder than we do on group rides. I don't know. But
aggressive.
Yeah, we're pansies here apparently in Minnesota. But to see his face is swollen and stuff, and he's just like, I got bucked off my one wheel. I'm sure there's more details to that than I really can remember. And so I was like, whoa! I thought for sure he's coming in to say he won, and he didn't. And then did your one wheel, because a lot of the pros were having issues with your one wheel overheating. You didn't have any of that problem?
Yeah. Nope. Luckily, I made it to the finish line. My motor temperature was like 178 because I got right to the finish line, and people are coming in behind me saying they're overheating. I'm like, oh, let's double check our motor temps to compare what we're at. And I opened the app up right then, and it sat for a couple minutes, but my motor temp was 178. I was using the little ice chillers that Connor created. I don't know if you've seen those yet.
Yeah, they go
flip around your little axle.
Yep, thank you. That's what I was going to ask you to describe it to those that have not.
Yeah. So it's just like a little metal fin system that has two halves with an adhesive thermal tape basically on the inside radius. And so you put each portion of this ice clip on either half of your axle, and they clip together with these little clips top and bottom, and a pair of pliers. Literally took 30 seconds to install while we were doing the riders meeting during the mass race.
Oh, like wait, wow.
Contemplating. Yeah, it's kind of like hearing other people speak about overheating issues and what they're doing to mitigate it. So I was trying to think at the same time. I remembered seeing those ice clips that Connor had made and the ease of installation of them. So I kind of started glancing around, found them, went over to him, talked to him like, yo, brother, you got a set of these in stock by chance? So he went and grabbed it, put it on my motor, and I'm not sure if that was the determining factor that kept it cooler, but I made it through the whole race without overheating, so I'm going to definitely be running them on every board.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's sweet. I'm trying to look them up for people to be able to go get them. You can go to, do you know, Creator, what is his website here?
Yeah,
Creator
One Wheel?
Creator Snow. Yeah, but if you Google it, ice clips for aluminum heat sink for one wheel GT. That's sweet.
There you go.
How do you know if your board is overheating?
What's the temperature? Do you know the temp they overheat at?
What was the indicator of that? Is there a light bar?
I think
on the light bar?
I think the light bar will turn orange and the board starts Captain Morganing on you. But I think the overheat temperature alarm kicks in at either 180 or 185.
Oh, so you were close.
Yeah, I was real close.
But what rails are you riding?
I'm rocking currently the Tech Rail Katanas with the hub centering blocks. So they do have a little bit extra cooling power through the hub blocks as well. Yeah.
And those are the same as the 357s, just not all cut out, right? The Katanas?
Correct. Yep. Same angles front and rear. The only difference is the drop height on the Katanas has two positions, and they're different than the drop height for the 357T that our truss cut out.
Yeah, that's what I have is the 357Ts. I like them. It'll be interesting to compare them to the WTFs. On the GT, I've rode the XR version of those, loved them. Have you rode the WTFs for the GT yet?
I just tried someone else's board. I like it quite a bit. It feels very similar to the WTFs on the XR did, but with the GT power, right?
Yeah.
I ultimately ended up switching from my WTFs on my XR setup to tail rails with a half drop kit for my race board, just because I like the additional tail clearance that offered.
Yeah. That's the beauty of the 350. I love the 357s for that tail clearance. I don't go near as fast as you.
What?
But even my speed, the speed I do go, I'm clearing all the things. You don't hear that smack anymore, and I loved it. Now,
absolutely. It's huge.
The one thing I was telling Jeff, the one thing with the 357s that I just don't know if I can get used to yet is that it's an angle. So your feet are angled. That's severe, but it's angled instead of flat. That angle is making my calf I'm being a pans apparently. I just can't sort it out. So what's your setup? And this is more personal and everybody else gets to benefit. What's your setup on your katanas for footpad wise, so to help fix that little tilt in there?
I recently switched over to the Craft and Ride Gel Air rear footpad because it has a nice, really deep concave rear pad. So your foot's sitting really low, close to the rails, hopefully lowering the center of gravity a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it's a little bit wider foot pad as well, so it helps hold my toe and heel on position, and it's not so hard for those really big landings to land on, since it does have that little bit of gel cushion to it. So I've liked the Gel Air for the rear. The front foot pad, I've just got the stock sensor still. I've been thinking about switching to the flat front foot pad that FM offers.
Yep.
I like those foot pads. I like the flat style on my XR platform originally. And then on top of that, I'm using the hex grip tape, the 4mm hex grip from Onewheel Parts. That's just super grippy, the stickiest grip tape I've had, so I love it. And it has that little extra layer of foam you really just dig in.
Okay, that's sweet. That's quite the setup. I kept looking at your setup as you were riding around. I was like, okay, I got to learn from this guy, especially as I saw you were doing quite well. And so I always like to pay attention to those that are doing quite well. Like, what's their setup? What do they like? I didn't know that. I love the gel foot pad for the XR that Craft and Ride put out. That was my favorite foot pad. I hadn't even thought about that for the GT. Maybe I will give that one a go before I say complete goodbye to the 357s. Thank you for that information, Luke. That's very welcoming.
Yeah. He's coming for you, Luke. He's coming for you.
No, I'm not, Luke.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Luke watched me ride. He knows I'm not coming for anybody.
Oh my god. It's
What are
not
you talking
that
about?
bad.
You're good at it.
You make
No, I can ride.
Like you're not.
I can ride. I'm not I don't ever have an intent. I want to be able to do what I'm doing. I want to be able to enjoy talking to people where you don't feel like I'm going to try to compete and steal a podium. When I talk to you, I'm not a threat, so we can have a good conversation. So it makes it fun. It really does. Okay, so you had to do. Everybody did 7 trails on the enduro side on Saturday. Then you had to go do the pro line. This was where it separated really the pros from the Joes that were all in the pro category. Because still, Onewheel is not clearly defined a pro. I could still sign up for my next race and say I'm a pro. It doesn't matter if I can ride or not. And so I would love to have that conversation, how to define what a pro is, and maybe you and I'll talk here in a second about that. But you get to the stage 8, and it separated the pros for sure. What were your thoughts on that? For those at home, you're like, how did it separate? It was what I know it called is Holy Roller. It has a lot of pump track style dirt tracks in there, but it also has these features that are made out of concrete, and they're a thing, right? I don't know how to explain it. It's just you can't. Your average person is not going over it or sending it. So, what'd you think of stage 8? What did you think of the 3 checkpoints where you were watched and graded by the judges?
Yeah, I thought stage 8 personally was a ton of fun. I luckily had quite a bit of time to be able to go out there and sesh those individual features and the track itself. the pump track leading up to the 3 features, there was a couple of grassy sections that had really steep climbs, really difficult to make it up. That probably tricked up quite a few riders just in and of itself. Being able to carry enough momentum and be able to brake hard enough while still just push over the lip as you make the top of that hill is like a difficult trick to try to learn and try to race with, So getting over just those 3, the 2 really tall grass climbs was the difficult part. Once you got past those points, it moved you into basically some pump section that wrapped a corner into these 3 rock gardens, I call them. So the first one was a ramp up, and then do like a ramp down into a drop into another rock, and then I'll drop off that into the trail. And then you have to carry your speed off that last drop up the next hill to make around the rock feature over to the right side. And then it was basically a stair set case down of rocks. You're basically riding down on the right side, trying to get through that clean. Once you clean that, carrying as much speed as you can past the third third rock feature that's in this trail. And you have to hit the 4th rock feature that dumps you, it's a really, really steep climb. You have to carry as much speed as you can just to make it up over the top. And then that, right after you get out to the top of that rock climb, it drops you into a left-hand downhill berm, which you basically got to hit full speed, otherwise you're tail sliding down the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was
That
an
sounds
absolute
horrible.
awesome trail. It was fun, and I loved it. Those technical features that you're just barely able to make are, get that big sense of reward or big sense of accomplishment once you do lace the feature and clean the whole line. You feel way better about it. You're just like, yes, that's what I've been trying all weekend for.
Yeah.
Did you make all 3?
Yep. I laced that
Let's
run.
go.
Ended up with the top time on the 8th segment.
Oh, wow. So
job.
if they were crowning even on that, you would have gotten another, if they had a trophy for that, you'd just cleaned house. You were the man this weekend, clearly.
That's
I ended
awesome.
up with top time, I think, on 3 out of the 8 or 4 out of the 8 segments.
Wow, that's so cool.
Nice.
Congrats, man. I didn't know that. Like, it was a lot of fun to watch you practice and then to watch you pull it off as your phone falls straight to the floor. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We've all done that. It was so cool to watch you perform. Now, you raced at Windman. That's where I saw you the first time in person. Did you win there? I know you podiumed.
Yeah,
He won.
Yeah, I ended up taking 2nd place there.
There you go.
yeah.
Austin
Austin.
Silva took first place.
They
Right.
they both podiumed there.
Right.
Austin and Mercedes.
So now this gives you you punched your ticket to go to Race for the Rails. How many times have you
Right.
been to the main dance? Is this your first ride to it or second, third? What's it?
This is my 2nd time to race for the rail. Last year, I ended up making it in after qualifying for the 12th position, the race for the rail, and ended up taking 3rd place overall at Race for the Rail last year.
Yes. Yeah, man. Race for the Rail last year, probably by far the best I've seen. Like, again, I've not been there. I only watch it online. Best in the fact that they actually, at some point, did put you in on trails. You weren't just always on a road. That you got
Right.
to do some of the trails, which I thought that was pretty cool. It'll be exciting to see what they do this year. I'm excited that you've made it, as we've gotten to see you race twice now in person.
You fast.
Yeah, our family, you're one of the, all the kids came home, all our grums came back, go, Dad, I don't know who to pick anymore. I like them all. Because we, at the beginning, it was like Austin and Mercedes and Bodie is who we really knew. And then that was easy to root for because, like, we know them. But now we're getting to know all of you guys. Like, I can't pick anymore.
You're all so nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Luke, I got to say, man, you are a pro on the course and then off. You were just sitting there at a picnic bench letting my kids just chat with you and stuff. And
And they can chat.
and they
Let
can
me
talk.
tell you.
Like, we're talking about the little guys. And,
Yeah.
and you didn't blow them off. You didn't go, I got better. You just chatted with them a little bit, which I thought was pretty cool. I just think that's cool to see in a sport where you have pros behaving as pros. That's a lot of fun. And so thanks for doing that. I know it means a lot to my kids. So let me ask this question.
I know how it is.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Somebody needs to say that or remind those on airplanes, like when we fly and one of our kids is like, ears won't pop, especially little ones, and they're like real frustrated.
Yeah.
Well, we were told once, who brings kids on planes? I was like, I always want to go, did you forget you were a child once? I go, I get this is an inconvenience for you. It is for us too.
Sure.
But it's like, man, we were all kids. Okay.
That's fun. Yeah, no kidding.
Back to this is a big question, Luke. So you can be, I suppose, diplomatic and try to answer it in a nice way. Or the question is, when it comes to Onewheel Pro. We lost him. Technology.
Maybe he'll call back.
He'll probably call back. Luke, if you're listening on
there
some,
he is.
He called right back. He's in Michigan. We don't know how far north he is. Luke, I get it. You were afraid of the question, so you hung up.
I missed it.
No, you're okay. How far up in Michigan are you?
I'm about 30 minutes south of Flint, not too far into Michigan.
Where's that?
Okay.
What, Flint?
Okay, it's about an hour, maybe 60 miles north of Detroit.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know where this is? This is a tiny town. Adrian, Michigan is?
Yeah. Yep. I know where that's at. It's north of me about an hour, maybe.
Okay, I have a lot of family there, so I've been up in that neck of the woods a lot.
Nice.
So
Sweet.
next time I'm over there, I'll have to hit you up, and you'll just slow down for me to keep
I'll
up
show
with you.
some sweet trails.
You will.
Right.
That'd be so fun.
But as long as we can have a group ride like I'm accustomed to, where no broken arms or bloody faces, that'd be great. Just tell all your buds.
Absolutely.
Not today, guys.
Yeah.
Not today.
Casual today, guys. Not
Yeah,
racing.
Casual day. Okay. So here's the big question. As right now, anyone can be pro. Like literally any legend who did really well in expert this weekend. What did you finished third on Sunday, Ledge?
Third on Sunday.
Third on Sunday in expert. Do you think there should be some kind of qualification to become pro? Like a standard?
I feel like that would be kind of helpful to some of the other pro riders just to get us through the segments a little faster and some of the timing processes and timing on race days so we could be a little bit more, concise that way, having more of the really, really dedicated fast riders riding close to one another rather than spread out throughout the day, stuck sometimes behind other riders that may not be as proficient of a rider as the actual pro seasoned riders would.
Okay, so what do you picture in your? I agree with you. I think Onewheel does this too. They're trying to figure it out. So perhaps they're listening.
Right.
Perhaps they'll listen to this later. What do you see as a potential way to make a benchmark for people to become a pro?
It's going to be hard to really have anyone really enforce it, right? But one of the things you could try to do is you have to basically compete in at least one race in an expert or better division, at least one time to qualify for pro. You can't be signing up for pro your first year out.
Yep.
It kind of sounds as a good way to, an easy way to do it would be, but where that cutoff point is, like how many amateurs or how many expert races do you have to do? Do you have to, land in a particular ranking after you race that position or, race that category to move on to pro? Those are some other questions that, just arise with, more questions.
More questions.
Sure.
And not everybody's going to like whatever Onewheel decides, right? Because they're going to abruptly apply a new rule, which is going to put people in and out, right? Anytime you do this, you're going to, people will be up in arms a little bit, but I do think somewhere along the line, a pro needs, I think for Onewheel's sake, because it's not just you're a pro, you are a Onewheel pro rider. Now you're carrying Onewheel's brand every time you show up. And I think for me, that's some of those things like, because Onewheel isn't controlling that right now, so now all pro riders are in not publicly stated, it's just everybody, I think, just thinks it. Oh, you've been crowned by Onewheel to be a pro, therefore they approve of everything and how you ride and what you're riding. And I think then that makes it a little interesting for all the pros because there's all these different standards right now. As I watched that stage 8, I watched those that I knew that were on a pretty stock board. They might have had Sure Start in there, but they didn't have, they weren't vest. It was different to watch a vest climb to the second part of that stage where, if you biffed it at the first, where Lily was, she was judging the first feature. If you biffed it there, now you've got to climb up a hill. All vest riders got up, no problem. There was no effort for their machine. But when it came to a Onewheel with no vest in it, Now skill came in. Like there's a way to climb, but you have to have a skill to it. And I think that's not fair. If you possess the skill and this other person doesn't, they just possess a machine. They can do it. Now all of a sudden it's not apples to apples.
Right. Agreed.
And so I think you got to be able to go, okay, vests are cool. I'm not downplaying vests, but I think vests should race against vests. One wheel should race against one wheel. And that's
agreed.
The way the cookie crumbles.
Well, in asking that, should that be, I mean, we've talked a little bit about this before on the podcast when we were learning about vests and everything. Should that be in its own category if you want to modify or whatever? Should it just be that? But like this Stage 8, that was a little bit designed to separate the ones that were really pros. And do you think that's fine to have to be able to do some of those rock features as opposed to just speed? Like, is it worth having the Stage 8, or is it worth having something else in all of these other races extra that the pros got to do?
I think I like the idea of having the extra features on Stage 8 that, really separated the advanced riders from the, typical riders. Being able to just accomplish those features gave me a great sense of accomplishment, and it was a good course to really mix up everyone's times. If someone was able to lace those features and get through that course really fast, that could be a huge benefit to their overall time, whereas a couple other riders may not have that same skill set, may not get through as clean, and that would be a big downfall to their particular overall time. So I think having that Stage 8 was really a good deciding course to help spread out some of those individual times a little more.
I think so. I think it separated the Joes and pros really fast. Even as we were judging there, boy, the ones that you would expect to rise to the top, men and women, those that are the pros, you're like, they are pros. As you've been around them and stuff, you're like, yes, there's a different caliber of riding, and they came through, and you guys weren't winded. You were really collectively pulled together and could ride, even if you had issues. Like, not all these pros had clean runs, but when they fell off their board, they weren't, like, throwing their one wheel, right? You guys just got on your one wheel like, we got to get on a race. Then there were others, and it's a bit of the Joes who, like, they fall off their one wheel, and it's like they wanted to chuck their one wheel into the woods.
As if it's the one wheel's fault?
Oh, yeah, they were.
It was so funny.
We couldn't even, there would be no way on this YouTube channel to play any of those pieces. Like, I have all 50 people's runs. We would have a bleeping machine for so many, like what people were saying to their one wheels. It was hilarious.
Some people would just laugh, which I always liked those people. Brooks was one of them. I think he's in the chat.
I think he is.
He did chuckle.
They'll just like biff on the board and just laugh, and I love that because it's like, okay, I can breathe, because it's like, you don't know how these guys are gonna react.
Oh man, it's a couple of those guys going off. I was kind of scared for myself. I was right there, telling them, put your board right there. It's got to be on this spot right here, and they're like, they can't breathe.
And then they come back yelling at the registration desk as if it's the trail's fault.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the trail's fault. There's nothing to do with the trail.
It wasn't your one wheel, and it wasn't the trail. It was just, there's a fitness level. There is a fitness level too. I think that separated on Stage 8, which was so fun to see firsthand. I got all the video footage. We'll drop the video footage of that later on in the next couple of weeks, showing people. We'll have to mute everyone except for some of the pros.
Collective.
Music will only be played because it was like, I mean, we couldn't help but as judges when there was gap between, but to kind of have a laugh at the expense of whatever rider just went through, because the things they said, you're like, that makes no sense at all what you just said to your board. Like, zero sense, and no content. It just was bizarre.
This overlander got caught up in that tree over there. What the hell?
And that was mild. It was very funny, and no one was hurt. That's why you could chuckle in it. But you could definitely see the difference between the pros and the Joes in it. And I wasn't riding. I'm not a. I've rode that trail a handful of times, but I walk those features. Just walk them, or I go around them. I would never attempt what you guys did. You guys possess a skill that it's an art. It's a skill. Even though you work a day job, you are perfecting your skill, which is so much fun to see.
So cool.
Okay, so outside of work and one-wheeling, what's something you do for fun outside of that?
Oh man,
who is Luke Austin outside of one-wheeling?
Outside of work, I'm one-wheeling. That's what I do for fun, all my good times. Other than that, I'm working on a couple projects at home, trying to start up my own company as well.
Nice.
having to do
Can
with
you tell
Onewheel?
us what is it like inside the Onewheel community or something completely different?
It's unrelated to the Onewheel community. It's I'm trying to keep it on the DL until I've got all my details hashed
Cool.
out.
Say
But
no
yeah.
more.
Cool.
That's exciting.
Okay,
Yeah, it
you.
is.
Heard it here first.
He's got something on the
That's
deal
right.
down low. We don't know what it is, but now everybody's going to start deep diving on Instagram and Facebook. Is there a way for us to? Okay.
There's a thought to what we were just talking about of changing the pro. I'm assuming it's Brooks that's in there today. Correct me if I'm wrong on Midwest One Wheel, but having them on Friday, having our pros like race then in a qualifying race to be
Ooh, I like that
considered
idea.
a pro on Friday going into Saturday.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Absolutely. That's a great idea.
I like that idea. I really like that idea. I also think, like, I follow the surfing league. I love watching surfing, and I do like how they rank, and throughout the season they make cuts. So by the time you get to the final race of the year, you have your
the
top
best, yeah.
15, and that's who's competing for the overall title. So it's an elimination throughout the season, which means you can start with a bigger field, race 1. And if you, by race 2, if you're not in the top, let's say you had 100 pros sign up for that. Now, get it, the issue is not everybody can make it to every race, so that doesn't work. But it would be cool to have a ranking system. You keep paring down the system. And so by the time,
I like that idea too.
by the time, because then what happens is you're just trying to always, like in the surfing league, you're trying to stay in the top 15, top 10.
Sure.
And what they do is everybody that surfs in their ranking, you know that a yellow shirt means in the league, that's
They're
the
the
number one rider right now. The pink one is 2. So every time you watch them surf, you know what position they are in the ranking, not of the weekend, but overall. And then they keep paring down. Once you fall out of the top 30, it's a pare down. And it just is like the pressure in every race, not only just to win, but to, okay, I fell off my board, but I still can, I need to stay inside my ranking. So nobody throws away a run then.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
It'd be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of fun as well because as it grows, it'd be cool to know where you rank, right? Like, I don't know that. I just came out when we were in Dirt Surfers. I haven't looked, but like your ranking just changed. But to what?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Right. I mean, they do. ORL does have a new ranking system out for the pro division.
Yes.
I haven't seen updated rankings since Dirt Surfers. I did check yesterday. I didn't see it updated yet. So they may take a week or so to get the numbers out. Typically, it's at least a few days after an event to get the numbers updated.
But I think they post those rankings like right before the next event. That's what it seems like.
Oh,
Is just
so
before. That's
going into the next event.
Right before Dirt Surfers, this came. I think it was Oak City.
Yeah, Oak City's the only one that's on there right now.
That was the last one.
Yeah.
Because that's the second. They posted it.
So we don't have rankings from
Dirt Surfers
yet.
What were you going into this weekend? Do you remember?
I was 17th going into it, tied with Austin Silva.
Oh, so this should catapult you pretty far up there, I would think, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, because
were you at Oak City?
Winning the premier race ends up getting me back to what's it called? Sorry, got lost connection here.
we hear you. You're still there.
Nice to see you. Is this gonna work?
We can hear you.
Oh,
All right.
All right, we can hear him. All right, there we go. Technology, man, we get it.
I'm telling you.
No, it's great. Okay, so I also picked up that you're sponsored by a heap of people, or at least somehow, like you called out, like it seemed like about 50 different brands that you are sponsored by. That's me being a little sarcastic or dramatic. So who are you sponsored by?
Right now, I'm sponsored by Motorized Pro, which is Sebastian's motorized mod maintenance out in Ann Arbor. I'm sponsored by Def Punk's team. I'm sponsored by Midwest One Wheel. Sponsored by One Wheel Parts. I'm sponsored by what's the Extreme Sports Mobility Lab, and then Overlanders as well. I think that's all of them.
And did you say armadillos as well? And function gear.
And armadillos and function gear. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Armadillos.
those guys,
Go ahead.
okay, so those guys are particularly more just, product sponsors, right? So just give you a picture of their items. I think they're going to probably change in the future to more of a team sponsorship type of role.
Nice. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be legit.
Armadillos reached out to me today on social media because we talked about tire sealants on the podcast, or I did, and they just talked about how Armadillos is used for PEVs. I made a comment on one of our shows, or one of those, that Armadillos is not made for PEVs. I just needed to go on the record that they are made for PEVs.
They were there.
They were there. Unfortunately, I didn't put their stuff in there. We got a flat tire on day one, and then I had to buy this. It's called Slime 2-in-1 from Walmart. It's
Junk, man. You don't
$7.99.
I don't want any of this.
No.
I do not want any of this. I did not want any of this.
Had I
but
met them earlier,
I
I
know.
would have bought from them there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't even. We needed it before everybody kind of
if
got there.
Armadillos wants to send us a massive gallons of this, because we got like 20 one-wheels around here that have no slime in them at all.
Yeah.
They do sell it by the gallon.
We needed it in a gallon.
That's awesome. That's about what?
We have 13 one-wheels. Only one of them has sealant in it right now, and that's the one that got this slime.
Slime green.
That's probably not even... Whatever we had in there, I put it in Legends board. Whatever it was either One Wheels or Float Lifes, and it didn't seal the hole.
Didn't
So
work.
it didn't work.
That's a
Out
bummer.
of here.
Armadillos.
I ended up getting a flat out there as well, and had to buy a new tire while I was there. I did put Dillos in it initially, and that worked for a day. And then before the race, I swapped in a fresh tire just to make sure I'm not.
I remember coming up on you. You had this similar kind of flat that Legend did, and you were pumping that stuff in there. Look, right here. You heard it here. Armadillos fix holes. Whatever else you're buying.
Armadillos is for the number one racer.
Yeah, supported by, and keeps it going down the road. Okay, so you're headed to the next event. You're going to Seek and Shred?
I'm not, actually. I'm going to be just practicing until I get to race for the rail.
Ooh,
I'm not
you're done.
really shooting. Yeah, I'm done for at least all the regional circuits. This win at Dirt Surf is really, it's going to help me save a lot of money with traveling expenses over this year. So I'm going to try to kind of, capitalize on that as much as I can.
Yeah, I get that.
That's the other part that is a little bit difficult. We get this is all on you guys to get to these, and as soon as you qualify, take advantage of that.
That's what Rachel's doing. Rachel, who won this past weekend as well. I asked her there, what are you going to do? And she's like, I'm taking it easy. However, she did say, I think I can say this, but she's going to practice riding side by side because that's not a normal thing for her. She's going to practice that, which probably makes sense since the last event is that style where you're being chased or
racing.
Yeah, that's a different kind of racing than an enduro race for sure.
Absolutely. I like head-to-head. It's a little more exciting in my eyes just because you get to see your competition's right there. You get to chase them down, go faster.
Yes.
It's exciting. They help push each other.
And that's what Lily and I do. Like in these races, we show up and just do what we always do on our Onewheel channel. Like we ask the events if we can race together in all the trails. So we're the only ones out of the whole weekend that get to go exact same time. And we're filming it on 360 cameras, but we're chasing each other, and you're getting close. Like at one point, one of us started falling, the other ran right into the back end of the other. It was just a collateral mess. Like we just are.
It's fun though.
It's fun because then your adrenaline's pumping in a different way, and it makes us have the ability to debut these trails in a different way than just watching point of view, right? Like my just an FPV kind of idea, and it allows you to see all the terrain. So we like to do that, and your adrenaline's cranking, even though there's nothing on the line except for bragging rights, which is a lot.
Right.
So
yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot. Okay, now let's get to. Have you seen any footage of your drop at the big drop? Have you seen video footage?
I haven't. I think I've seen one footage of it. It was pretty legit. Other than that, I really haven't seen too much footage lately.
Okay,
at least today.
I have some amazing shots of it. I had the privilege of risking my life at times with you guys jumping and your boards flying everywhere. I got hit a couple times in the shins by people's board, but all for the shot, okay? I just wanted it to, that everybody knew that my life was risked to get these shots for everyone.
We appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, my honor, privilege to do it.
Thank you for not killing him.
Did you know that Tyler James sneaks in underneath you every time you jumped?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so we'll roll this a couple times for you. I got it shot the second time he does it because I missed it on the first time because you get so much air.
So high.
I didn't get far enough away to get you and Tyler in the shot. So we do it another time, and Tyler comes in right underneath the ramp, and you send it. This is your last go.
Nice.
This is hit. You'll get to see it as a YouTube short later on. It'll go live on our channel. But here is one of the coolest things that made the sport progress, leaps and bounds for sure. The big drop, danger zone area at Dirt Surfers. Here's Luke Austin sending it with Tyler James underneath him. Check this out right here. Green jersey coming in, massive hit. See Tyler James sitting there?
Yeah, I saw him.
Let's roll it again. Did you see
Is he
him?
filming too?
No, he might have had it on his. He's sitting right below the Dirt Surfer sign. If we can pause it, pause.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw it for a second.
You got it. Our Groms at the back table will try to get it paused so you can see him. Hit it. There he is. See him sitting there?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, you completely cleared him and more.
No problem.
Look,
That's awesome.
So that was awesome. And then you were getting it. You were almost landing into the flat, man. Like, that was wild.
How does it feel to fall like that?
I was going to ask how it felt to fly.
It's sweet. I mean, honestly, the first couple falls weren't bad. The last fall I had, I ended up rolling my ankle a little, and it was like a reoccurring injury on the same right ankle, so I tweaked it and didn't feel good. I figured I'll just stop right there.
Yeah,
But,
that was the shot.
Yeah,
that shot right there is the one you call it. You're like, nope, done.
yeah, that was it. So, but yeah, after that, getting that much air and flying through the air, once you start getting air, I mean, the process doesn't really change based on the amount of air you're getting. So,
What?
once you get the technique down of flying through the air and landing on the board in a weird downhill, like that whole process is the hardest part, right? The gap or the distance between those 2 points changing really doesn't make a big difference in my eyes. This is why I have that whole process.
Wow. Well, it literally makes a difference in my eyes.
Yeah. I would much rather drop off 1 foot versus, I mean, that's 5.5 feet tall, the rocks. And then they brought out that ramp, which put another foot on it. So you're going 6.5 feet, you're just dropping. But because where you're coming, it's got to be 8, 9 feet high because you just go
The
up.
weight was crazy.
Yeah.
You progress the sport.
It was huge. It felt big, for sure. And there's a bigger jump I wanted to do that weekend that is even bigger, but because I tweaked my ankle, I decided to not, to opt out of that opportunity.
Yeah. You got third in that competition as well, right?
Yep, and taking third place overall for the few landings I did make.
You're like the golden boy, man. Like you podium
Golden
on
boy.
Dirt Surfers. That's what you just need to give him as a golden boy at Dirt Surfers because, like, you just
You were in every
you podium
event
on
and-
everywhere you went.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Everything you touch turns to gold.
That's
It's amazing.
That's right. That's sweet, man. I'm glad it worked out awesome for me, honestly. I'm so stoked about being able to perform as well as I did out there and racing with all my great friends and homies. And it was just an absolute awesome event. I couldn't have asked for a better weekend.
Yeah,
Awesome.
man. Thank you.
I meant to ask this earlier. How many times have you been in Dirt Surfers? Is this one you'll always be at, or it just?
Yeah,
fun for
I've
you?
been there. This is my second year there. I went there once last year, like I said, and ended up 18th. And that really is what, fit me with the race bug. I would say I had so much fun there with the excursion race and racing with all my friends. We had a big group come down from Detroit to go there, and it was an absolute best time I've had on a one wheel until this year.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, again, for anyone on the ropes of coming to Dirt Surfers, this is from the community talking, even not just my opinion. It is top. It's the best. because it's a racer's race. You come to race. You come to ride your one wheel. I think every day somebody's talking about how much they rode the day before, and then the next day you're just riding. You're on your one wheel. It is a one wheel.
Time,
yeah. That's what makes it
it's
fun.
awesome. I love it.
Well,
yeah, it's really, really race-oriented type of race, too, right? Some of the other races are more, race and events. This is really just
this
race.
Is all race. Yeah. Nick, he's in I think it's him in the chat. He's talking about changes already that they're going to make for the pros next year. And like, he's always thinking.
Yeah.
That guy's always thinking, always changing, always wanting new and how to make it better. So that's always cool.
And and he even says it, dirt surfers is a racer's race. If you want to get out and just race, not be a pro, but just like to race and be on your one wheel the whole time, this is the event for you. And there's chill time and you can camp if you want, but people are laser focused. You were focused all week, man. Mm-hmm. I saw you were always laser focused on your work. So you
making it count.
Yeah, you did spectacular, man. I can't wait to see how you perform at ORL. I can't wait as we get to know all those that are qualifying. It's like, it's going to be a fun class this year in 2023 of ORL. It's going to be spectacular.
Are you still going to come out to Windman?
It's going to be awesome. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be there for sure.
Well,
how far is that from you?
Windman?
Yeah.
Windman will be about a 7-hour drive for me.
That's not too bad.
Do you go down to Chicago and then go up?
I'll probably go down to Chicago and go up this time. It's basically 50-50 matter which way I go around, either through Chicago or through the UP. But if I go down through Chicago, it's a lot less likely to hit a deer. So I'll go that route this year.
Yes.
Last year I went up to Windman, and then we were cutting through the UP at like 1 a.m, and it was a deer probably every 10 seconds just trying to cross the road. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's nerve-wracking. We did a one-wheel race of our own caliber where we did all the Great Lakes in 24 hours. We went to New York City, and then we had to get to every Great Lake and ride our one wheel right on the edge of the lakes, and then paddleboard as well. So we did both. It was hilarious, so much fun. Nice. We filmed it all. But we went up through to get to Lake Huron in Lake Michigan at the same time. We went way up there, and we're driving in the middle of the night, and there's no lights up there. It is dark.
Scary dark.
There is nothing up there.
Nothing but animals. I was more worried about a moose. I was like, a deer, an RV can handle a deer. I was like, we're going to hit a moose. A moose is going to kill us.
Yeah, no kidding. That's the real thing.
Yeah. But beautiful. It is beautiful up there. If you figure out a way to come over by the Twin Cities in Minnesota, love to have you come send it here in our backyard trails, where we just get to see you gap things and do what you do best. So this is your invite to come hang here. I know there's always an after party somewhere for all the pros to go. Maybe it will be here in the Twin Cities. We'll make our own little festival before or after, so just let us know. But Luke, you've given us plenty of your time today. It has been a pleasure to hang with you on the podcast today. Thank you for what you do for One Wheel, as you just are progressing it. When we release the Big Air competition, they're going to watch all your other takes, and you were just sending it. Thank you for showing my kids what's possible on a one wheel. You know, I mean,
for sure, man.
You're so kind.
And it shows. It shows.
That's right. Thanks.
So keep that tire down on always down. You know, don't break anything. Keep yourself healthy all the way to ORL. We'll be rooting you on there, and hopefully we see you at Windman and celebrate you coming home with a trophy, bringing it to the Midwest.
Let's go.
Woo.
Yeah.
All right.
Woo. Great chatting with you, Luke.
All right, Luke. Have a great afternoon, bro. Okay.
Bye, Luke.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
See you guys.
Man, what a great human right there.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Nice. I got a
He's a gentleman. Like he is gentle, and like if that didn't come off across the camera here, just gentle, like just super kind, super humble. He was so fun to be around, and he wasn't hiding information from you. He was trying to help everybody get better and progress, and even there he wasn't hiding information. Just a good guy.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed it. I got the privilege to be at the registration desk, when everybody's coming up to get their timing chips and stuff. And somebody had grabbed his in the morning for him, and he came back up, and he wanted to make sure that it was working. And so the gentleman that runs all those timing chips was showing him how to make sure it was working. And he just was like, thank you guys so much. Thanks for all your help. Like, he was just so, like, genuinely, like, he was serious. Like, he's taken his racing very serious, but he was not just like, this is all about me.
Yeah,
like, he
not
just wanted
enough
to
to the
make
point
sure
where
it
you
was
ignore
right. And then he
people.
was considerate and so kind. Every time he came up, he was so kind.
That's awesome.
He really was. And to meet him in the middle of the where that big air competition was, that's where a lot of us from Scott Mendenhall and friends spent a lot of days building.
Before Dirt Surfers.
Dirt Surfers started, we were building all those ramps and cleaning out debris. Tyler was down there. Hank was down there as well, helping us, and a few others. If you're watching, I forgot your name. You know who you are. Sorry, I forget. But we were just down there building these things that we wondered if people would send it. And Luke was one of those that sent it. Flying Hawaiian sent it in there. I can't wait till later this week to be able to drop that footage from some most mind-blowing tricks that I think has progressed the sport. People are going to look at it and go, I didn't know that was possible. It was so cool. People were all over the rocks watching it. Lily, what was your take on the big air competition in the drop zone?
It was wild. I guess one of my favorite parts about it was just all the spectators. Like, we were like amphitheatered around these huge drops, and it was just so impressive.
It's hard. We haven't seen a ton of like the footage and stuff, but it is hard to see some of these pictures or videos or whatever and get the magnitude of how high these guys were going.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. I didn't know Luke. I didn't know he did those big drops. So I'm just thinking, oh, he's fast. He's good at the trails and, this and that. And then I saw that he was,
Yeah,
I was
he's
like,
really
he does
an
this
all-around.
too? Like
he's really like one of the only all around. Not that there's others, but he just stuck out this weekend. He stuck out for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good way to put it.
And again, I think it's always worth mentioning that every trail network of trails probably suits others better than others, right? Mm-hmm. That's some of the beauty of traveling around and getting to different events, is that you're getting tested on different terrain. Arkansas's trails are very different than Minnesota. And Minnesota is very different than what you'd see in California, though I've never rode out there. But by watching film, I'm like, oh yeah, 9-day different.
Yeah, none of it's going to be the same, which is awesome.
Right.
That's what's fun.
It's pretty cool to be able to see those riders excel and learn what they're great at. To see Luke Austin and see what he was great at, that was pretty exciting. There was a few injuries throughout the week. The Silvas, they were pretty banged up. Austin's ankle was pretty banged up. Mercedes
Took a pretty hard fall.
Yeah, there was a lot of falls throughout practices.
But they still podiumed. Like,
Yeah.
these guys, like,
We're pros,
They
man.
are diehard. Like,
But they're
in
pros.
it.
What do you expect a
For
pro,
sure.
a pro to do? Show up even though you're injured.
That's just not their personality.
Right. So they were doing great in that they showed up with, even though they were injured. It was just a great weekend. You need to put it on your calendar. As soon as we know the dates of Dirt Surfers, we'll let you know. We're going to, hopefully, Scott Mendenhall and friends will be invited back to help run the event with them. That was so much fun to be down there. We're looking forward to be a part of it as well. Help Nick and Rachel to just accomplish what they've dreamed that event to be. It was an honor and a privilege to be with them. We didn't know what it was going to be throughout the week, and it just was awesome. Right, Hal?
Yeah, I mean, we are already ready to put it on our calendar for next year if it's the same time frame. We truly had a blast getting to see everybody, getting to be like in and out of helping in whatever way. We didn't fully know the capacity of being able to help when we first were like, hey, yeah, we're coming. And it was amazing for our group.
It was awesome.
Nick and Rachel, you guys put on a spectacular event. It's awesome.
Yes, so good. From the registry, everything. It was so great to meet all of you that might be watching today or later on today. So cool that you came up and said, we love what you guys are doing. That was super encouraging. Because sometimes on YouTube, you don't get you don't always hear the good. You hear a lot of people telling you what you're doing wrong and
what they think you're doing wrong.
right, that you're just not doing a good job. And So sometimes it feels like, oh, what are you doing? Why are we doing it? And it was so cool to leave that event. And I feel more encouraged to get back to creating more content for this channel because people were like, I loved it. There were so many times we walked into this or met somebody that said, you're the first video I saw on Onewheel. I bought one and now I started a business.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was super humbling.
Cool. Oh my gosh.
Super humbling to be able to be a part of that story in their life, that they found one of our, I don't know, fun videos, silly videos. Other people sent their kids to our digital camps that we do, which was so rad to go, wait, we mailed a box to you? How? It was just so
fun. One of
cool.
the things that I was so encouraged by is there was so many, I got a chance to meet so many different families. In particular, I might chat with the wife a little bit more, and she was like, yeah, at first my husband was just doing this, and then we came across and saw that your kids were riding, and they were trying to get into racing, and just then now they're there as a whole family. And that was amazing, because that's one thing we love to be able to do, is be able to go as a whole family, and so it was so awesome to meet those families that are like, nope, these are kind of like our vacation times, and we're going as a family. And I was like, me too. That's what we're doing. So it was amazing. So many cool families that were doing it all together. And
Lily is wearing the Dirt Surfers t-shirt that was made, which is a really cool t-shirt. Bodie's on the back from the drop with all the sponsors. And then Holly's wearing what Float Life brought as a racing jersey that you could purchase there, which is so cool. It's a bit of a retro jersey, the first jersey, so they brought it back. Super comfortable. I don't know if they're going to sell those on a website or not. You should get one because racing jerseys are they're comfortable.
They really are. Actually.
They really are comfortable. And
then we were sporting our Scott Mendenhall and friends.
Yeah, that was fun to see. It was fun to see the pros that we gave them to, that because their faces are on it, to see them running around in our jerseys, to see the Silvas wearing the jerseys. Then
they look good in those colors.
Yeah, Rachel wearing hers on Sunday. And then all the Groms that raced in them. It was just cool. It was just such a great event. It was cool I keep seeing John's name pop up in here. It's so cool to meet him. We've seen a lot of his content. He kept saying, oh man, it's so hot here, and he had his sleeves on. I was like, bro, last video we saw you riding around in Minnesota, it hit 50 degrees, you cut your sleeves off, yet down there it's 80 degrees.
And he's still
you know what I
long
mean?
Sleeves?
Yeah, I was like, cut them off. And so later on he had got them cut off.
That's funny.
Yeah, good people.
It
was fun.
It really was. It was a good time. We were down there not only helping with Dirt Surfers, a few other things, but it was spectacular, and we could go on, and we probably will over the next few weeks. We got a lot of new products to review that we picked up down there. One of the things we'll make mentions to, I don't have it currently sitting here, but Float Life hooked us up as well with the Gripples. These are game changers, guys. Game changers.
They're not
Gripples.
Available yet.
They're not available. They had them at Dirt
the
Surfers for a handful of people. They go on top of your grip tape, and they lock you in where you don't bounce around and slip around. I put Gripples on, and I took my overlanders off because I felt so locked in. The Gripples have these little bumps that especially if you're wearing Vans or something like that, that the bigger bumps fit in the holes of the waffle cones on your sole, and it just locks you in a little bit nicer. They're not a hard plastic, it's a rubber. We'll do a review on them.
Yeah, you'll have to, because does it make it feel like squishy?
It's a little squishy. It's just really comfortable. And you put them, you can put one or two. I had two on my front foot pad. I started with two on my back, and I didn't like both of them, so I took off and left only one. It really kept me locked in. They are not reusable, so once you place them, that's it. And so you better make sure that they're what you want. Just keep an eye for those. I'm sure they're going to drop soon. Gripples are what they're called, and very, very useful.
I had a dream that I won the 40 plus.
No
women.
way,
She
you
did.
did. That's hilarious.
This morning she says, this was her this morning. She said, I
said, babe,
I've got to learn to ride a one wheel. I can't be left behind. That's what she said this morning.
Because I had a dream that I won the 40 plus.
Who's leaving you behind?
Well, everybody else sits on
I'm
one
not
wheels.
riding. I'm just not riding. I got to
get you out there.
But then we talked about it more. Like, I loved what I got to do. Like the registration, seeing everybody.
Yeah, that was fun.
I love that side of it too.
So it sounds like she might be getting on a
know.
one wheel here. Might need to get her a GT. We'll call it my second board, and then you can use it.
Okay.
I mean, and then you learn how to ride. So what dirt is this? Like, are you making a genuine?
I'm sweating right now.
Let's just get it on as we land the plane today. Is this something that you're making it a goal for next year's Dirt Surfers to race?
Well, we still got a little one, so that little guy can't be left behind. We let some of our younger ones race, and they got lost in the woods.
Yeah, Scott Mendenhall and friends. We were gathering
I
grounds
might
out
be
of the
able
woods.
to be that person that rides behind our little ones, but I need to be able to do it well enough to ride behind
Sounds like
them.
next year you're going to be mother hen with the Groms in the woods.
I think that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You do 2 trails, get the Groms through, and then that's your weekend.
There we go.
You.
All right, you heard it here.
I'm gonna do. I got my jersey. I'll wear it.
You look legit.
You have a Scott Mendenhall and friends jersey
I
as
do
well.
have that too.
Look,
So.
you have everything but a one wheel right now.
I don't know.
Let's go,
That's
Holly.
right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
You can't be a poser and wear all this stuff and not ride.
My girl said, "Mom, you look so cute today."
Yeah, because you got
So
a
maybe
Dirt
I
Surfers
can.
jersey.
You look like you belong.
You
so
do. That's okay. You are married to a
making
rider.
the dream a reality.
True.
All of your kids, you're a fan of the sport, so it's okay.
I had so much fun. In all of the whole week that we were there. Just
I think one of the
watching.
coolest things was, and you guys will remember his name, 74-year-old man shows
Jim.
up.
Jim.
James, yeah.
Jim
He
shows
was
up
great.
to Dirt Surfers
Wearing a padded diaper.
wearing a padded diaper because he's 74 years old.
No,
Probably-
it was just pads.
It
but
was just
went
pad, but
over his pants.
Yes.
I talk about inspiring. He came up to the registration and he said, "Hey, I got a board and I want to know if I should register for this race." And I said, "Well, what's your name?" And he's like, "I'm Jim." And I said, "Jim, how long you been riding?" He goes, "A couple months." And I said, "Well," he goes, "I got a GT." And I said, "Well, that's amazing."
Wait, he said he's been riding for a couple months?
For a few months.
Yeah.
And then he told me that he has done 4 toe side turns and 3 backside turns in his driveway. And
Yeah.
I was like, "Jim, that is amazing. We're going to get you practicing and then we'll see you
I
next
got to
year."
step in here on there because when somebody says riding for a couple months, it feels like, okay, you mean you're riding about every other day situation. You got some miles on your one wheel. When I turned on connected the app to his one wheel, he had 2 miles. The one wheel already comes with almost a mile.
That's because he's doing
He's
2
doing
toe
it in
side
his driveway.
turns and 2 backside turns.
I guess
in his
it takes
driveway.
So that's what I shared with him, that these trails are known to be a little bit gnarly. And so
Precarious.
he probably needs to practice up a little bit and then we'll see him out. But I did offer him to come back out because I think he was from Oklahoma. He wasn't all that far away. But I was like, come back out and you can at least help in the event.
Yeah,
And
he
was awesome.
He called Nick to ask if he should pay to race. And Nick's like, wait, just tell me your experience. And told him I got 3 miles on my one wheel. So Nick's like, just come out here. So he didn't really know how to ride his one
Oh,
wheel.
I didn't know that.
And so he came out, and then I saw him at the registration, and I saw him on the street trying to sort it out, and I came over to help him. And I deflated his tire almost to nothing so it would be less wobbly. And then I put it in bay. He's like, oh, yeah, one wheel. I emailed them to ask them how to ride this thing. What would be a good setting for me? And they said bay.
so great.
What I missed is how he found the one wheel. Like, how did he even come across it?
I didn't catch
I
that
don't know
part.
either.
So he finally did ride. Like, eventually we see him riding around Dirt Surfers on the pavement on his one wheel, doubled his miles at Dirt Surfers. but
Easily.
74 years old, just shredding it on a
So
one wheel.
cool.
So much
It
fun.
was
That's what makes like
so
these
neat.
events like this so cool was, you have a Luke Austin who is just sending it. Austin Silva and Mercedes sending it. Rachel sending it. List goes on, and people sent Bodie out there in a sling sending his swag everywhere. And you just name it, right? Everybody doing what Jeff Adair out there. I just could go on.
yeah.
And then you have this guy, 74 years old, killing it
But
and
he
learning.
loved meeting everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just in the mix of it all for the whole weekend.
Yep, it was cool. That's what's so cool about these events is you get to rub shoulders with the pros and a Grom like him who's brand new to the sport. And I
That
just
was
walked
fun.
away hanging with him going, man, when I'm 74 years old, whatever the newfangled technology thing is,
I'm gonna
I
try
hope
it.
I'm riding it. Because here's this guy at 74 years old, in all likelihood should go, no, I shouldn't do that. I'm like, he didn't. He's like, I want to try that. I'm going to ride it. Is he ever going to race?
Not
Probably
fearful
not.
at all.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to hit the trails, and we're all fearful for him. Like, I don't know, man. So it was super, the whole event.
There was multiple people that had never been on trails or have never been in a dirt or a one-wheel race that were out there and just heard about it and came. Amazing, like so inspiring. People just like, I'm gonna give this a try.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yep. Somebody's writing in the comments, and I couldn't agree with them more. Holly, they're saying race by Windman.
Race at Windman.
Yep, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be able to be on call for the children.
We'll bring in one of our
and
parents.
last year at Windman, you lost a child.
I don't remember that.
Rev was down.
Oh,
just
yeah,
chilling.
I do remember that. Other people found him.
No, he was fine.
He was fine.
He came out with no shoes on.
Yeah, all our children around here, they're moldly.
We didn't talk about this. Second race in a row, Greatness ended up on a pro line.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, he went in, raced 1 and 2, came out, and then just saw another trail. I was like, I'm going to go in there. And he's on the other side of the mountain. And his battery is dead on his one wheel. He had to get taken out.
We had to send Legend in. Legend's like, it's going to mess up my stage. And I was like, I don't care. Go get your brother.
Yeah, Legend had a tough learn there. But
Yeah.
Legend podium.
He did.
3rd place, expert. Love it. Epic.
go.
3rd place. I should clarify. On the excursion race, the 8-mile race, Legend
Yes.
3rd expert. Epic 3rd in 14 through 18 grams. Historic 3rd place in 13
and under.
to under grams.
Killed it.
In the long race. It was so cool to see. It was great to hear Nick go. And again, a Scott Mendenhall child on the podium. And then we had Lily on Saturday
Not a Scott
podium.
Mendenhall child, but still got
Friends,
it.
Scott
Scott
Mendenhall,
Mendenhall and
friends.
Yeah, was rocking the jersey.
Basically,
On brand.
on brand.
I was.
Basically, what happens if you're a Scott Mendenhall friends, you're probably going
win.
to podium.
You win.
Yeah,
You
come
that's
join us.
That's what we're going to do. I mean, every time we've gone, somebody in Scott Mendenhall and friends have podiumed. Love it. We're here to represent
Love
that.
to see it.
Podium, we had Jack
Janowak.
who podiumed on
the
Saturday, Scott Mendenhall and
Enduro.
friends. Yeah.
Sweet.
So, it's
It was
great.
fun.
Join the Scott Mendenhall
Fun
friend
event.
movement.
Fun weekend.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the podcast today. Got to catch up with Luke Austin.
Super cool
He
guy.
is Send It Luke on Instagram, I believe so.
For a reason, he is Send It Luke.
Go give him
For
a follow.
reason.
He's always posting some sweet things he's jumping. I'd like to. We should put out a thing for him to have. Like, what's the biggest thing he could jump? We've seen a car jumped by Kyle. What could we say, Luke? You should jump what?
Get your ankle feeling better.
Ford Excursion. No, a Ford. What's our car? Transit. Ford Transit. Would that not be awesome?
So what? You ride up the back of it and jump
No,
off?
you'd have a launch ramp in front of it and clear the thing and come down the other side.
Full send Luke.
Full send Luke. Thank you, Lily.
Yeah.
Full send Luke. Go give him a follow on that. Everybody else, stay tuned to our channel as we will drop more One Wheel content. The big air competition will drop either tomorrow or Friday. We're pretty stoked to be able to bring that to you guys for your enjoyment. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thank you for everybody who's given us the kind words at Dirt Surfers. It's a pleasure to bring you guys content weekly about One Wheel stuff. We love all of you.
Love it.
Stay safe out there. Introduce somebody this week to a One Wheel. You might actually
Make
make
a
their
new
life
friend.
better and have a new friend for life. Okay, everybody?
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.